Solve the polynomial inequality algebraically. The first thing that we want to do is to get 0 on one side of the inequality, but we already have 0 on one side, so we can move forward to step 2. Then we need to find the zeros of the polynomial that result on the other side. Let's recall that the zeros of a polynomial are the x values that cause the polynomial to be equal to 0. So as a reminder, in order to find the x values that cause the polynomial to be equal to 0, we need to factor the polynomial. So looking only at the left-hand side here, we'll notice that it factors by grouping. We can pull an x squared out of the first two terms and a 4 out of the second two terms. So x squared comes out of the first two, leaving x minus 2 that remains. And as a matter of fact, we need to factor out a negative 4 from the next two terms so that we also get x minus 2 that remains out of that second group. Now we have a common factor of x minus 2, so we'll pull that out and then have x squared minus 4 that remains. We're not quite done with this factorization because x squared minus 4 is the difference of squares that can factor farther. So our final factorization is x minus 2 times x plus 2 times x minus 2, which is that difference of squares. But since we have two factors of x minus 2, let's just call this x minus 2 squared here. So this is our polynomial in its factored form. So let's use that in the place of the original polynomial. So we have x minus 2 quantity squared times x plus 2, and we want to see where this is less than 0. Now remember, we're still in step 2 here. We were factoring this polynomial in order so that we could more easily determine who the zeros of the polynomial are. So once we have it in its factored form, we can see that the zeros are x is equal to positive 2, x is equal to 2 zeros out this factor, and x is equal to negative 2 zeros out the second factor. So we have two zeros. Now we're going to call these zeros boundary points, plot them on a number line, and then test values inside the resulting intervals. So here's our number line. We have the boundary points negative 2 and positive 2. Breaking that number line up into 3 intervals, we'll pick a test value that is less than negative 2. So let's say x is equal to negative 3. We'll pick a test value that's inside this interval, and I like to choose x is equal to 0 if it's in the interval. And we'll choose another test value that is greater than 2. Let's say x is equal to positive 3. And these test values are used back in the original polynomial. I'm actually going to test them back in the factored version because it'll make my calculations a good bit easier. So starting with x is equal to negative 3, we plug negative 3 in for each of these x values, and then calculate to see whether or not this is a true statement. So we have negative 3 minus 2, that's negative 5 quantity squared. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So this is positive 25 times negative 1, which is a negative quantity, and negative 3 does make a true statement. So this interval is part of the solution set. So now let's test x is equal to 0 back in the original inequality, plugging in 0 for each of these x values. 0 goes in here, 0 goes in here, and we have 0 minus 2, which is negative 2 quantity squared. 0 plus 2 is positive 2. Negative 2 squared is positive 4 times positive 2 is positive 8, so it's not less than 0, and this interval is not part of our solution set. And now we test our last interval where x is equal to 3 is our test point. We plug 3 in for each of those x values up here and calculate to see whether or not this is a true statement. So 3 minus 2 is positive 1 quantity squared. 3 plus 2 is 5. So this is 1 times 5, which is 5. That is not less than 0. Again, a contradiction indicating that this interval is not part of the solution set. And that looks a little interesting that we have two intervals next to each other that do not work. But let's just keep moving forward with our process. The next thing is that we want to test the boundary points themselves. So we'll plug in x is equal to 2 for those x values. And that's going to cause this factor to be equal to 0, which when multiplied by 2 plus 2, which is 4, is going to give me 0, which is not less than 0. So again, a contradiction, which means that this boundary point does not work. And when we test this other boundary point, it's also not going to work because it's going to cause this factor to be 0. And 0 times anything is going to be equal to 0, which is not less than 0. So that one doesn't work either. Now it's time to state the solution set. And the only interval that worked was this one out here, which begins at negative infinity. So we start with negative infinity, and remember we go all the way up to the boundary point, not the test point, which is -2, but that boundary point was not part of the solution set, so we leave it out. And nothing else worked. This interval didn't work, this boundary point did not work, and this interval didn't work, so this is our only solution set from negative infinity to -2. Let's see if we can make sense of this solution by looking at the graph of the polynomial expression that's on the left-hand side. So let's consider y is equal to the left-hand side of this polynomial inequality, and we'll graph that left-hand side. Looking at the output values, which are the y values, and those y values are going to represent the output of the polynomial expression. This polynomial is a third-degree polynomial with a positive leading coefficient, so its in behavior is going to be down in the third quadrant and up in the first quadrant. We had two zeros, one at +2 and one at -2, and those two zeros correspond directly to the x-intercepts. Now, the multiplicity of these zeros, we have x is equal to 2 with a multiplicity of 2. So that tells us that we are going to touch the x-axis and turn around at this x-intercept. But the multiplicity of x is equal to -2 is 1, which tells us that we're going to cross the x-axis at this x-intercept. So starting down here in the third quadrant, we're going to cross the x-axis at -2. The y-intercept on this graph is +4, because when we plug in 0 for x, we do get a +4 as the output. So this graph comes up, comes back down through that y-intercept. And then remember, since the multiplicity of x is equal to 2 was even, that means that our graph bounces here and then turns back around to finish in the first quadrant. So this is a rough sketch of this polynomial equation. And what we want to know is where those y value outputs are less than 0. The y values are less than 0 only down here in this region. So the solution set should be starting out at negative infinity, and all these x values generate negative y values up to the x value -2, but -2's y value is equal to 0, so we do not include -2 since we want the output to be strictly less than 0 but not equal to 0. But that's it. Nothing else works because all these y values are positive, this y value is equal to 0, and these y values are positive, so none of this is part of the solution set, and our only working interval is the interval from negative infinity to -2.